Yo, this is Chris Gotti, Lorenzo, and this is Givin Them The Business. My partner, Don Dinero.
Hola.
Que hola. You know what I'm saying? And we have our very first guest today.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Let's give it up for our man, Quell. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, man, pleasure for you to be in here, man. Thank you.
Already, man.
You know, this is our first guest. You our first guest. We didn't do no guest yet. You are number one. And again, it's something that I really put a lot of thought into who my first guest was gonna be.
Right.
When my man brought you up to me and then showed me your story and everything, it just made sense for me just because of who I am and what I'm about, represent what you about,
Appreciate
everything. And again, I start by saying that because that was everything for me. You know what I'm saying? Just seeing that the whole thing, the way it turned, what I've seen, and now to get it firsthand from you, that's what I mean. It's a pleasure. You know what I'm saying?
Thank you, man.
Yeah.
It's a pleasure for me too, man. You know
Yeah, definitely.
So you right here, man.
You know, so quick. Yeah, facts.
Give the people a little synopsis. I know he's
that's what I'm about to. So you know, from what I understand, again, and we're gonna get the details from you, of course. Quell was very big in, let's say, gang culture with the Bloods, right? There's a point in time in that moment. Again, and it transpired into other things, which I want you to give the detail. But in the beginning, what it starts, and again, I'm going to go on the record. I'm not a banger. I never was. We was talking off air, you know, and I was letting you know I'm Hollis Crew. I grew up in Hollis, Queens. Hollis Crew. I'm 54. There wasn't gangs when I was young, at least to my knowledge, in New York City. Maybe on the West Coast we know about them, or Chicago. We didn't know about them in New York, for the most part. And that's what you'll clear up the timelines for me. Right. You know what I'm saying? But he came in, and then some things happened inside of that as he was one of the top, if not the top, for New York City. If I'm wrong, you could stop me. At one time, yeah. So, you know, and I want to get into what gang culture, I'm going to just use that and not just say Bloods, because it doesn't matter. You know, the Bloods, Crips, it could be the, you know, GDs, BDs. It's the gang culture. You may not follow each other or fuck with each other, but it's all right. It is what it is. It's still kind of underneath that same gang culture, philosophy, ideology, whatever you want to call it, you know, guidelines, rules. And in what I want to get into also with this conversation is how to let the people know how much influence inside, if you was locked up, has on the outside, and what really transpires from culture and artists in the music business. You know what I'm saying? So those are the things I want to get into, and how it translates into business. You know, because it does affect business. It's actually very big business when you understand the influence all of this has. You know, think about your favorite artists. I guarantee most of them, one of them is going to be gang affiliated. And then this is where it leads to big business. You know what I'm saying? Because it does have an effect on the outside world. And someone inside is more than likely calling shots or helping them move the way they're moving outside on the streets. So where would you want to start from? Let's go from the beginning. Like, give me the era when you was running things out here and how that transpired.
Well, I'll tell you how it all started with me. And I would leave some things out, obviously incriminating, you know, with overt acting. So they'll carry that on from 20-something years ago. I said something.
Facts.
But in 1994, I got locked up.
94.
For a couple of armed robberies, for jewelry store armed robberies. So I was on Rykers Island facing a lot of time because I was a persistent felony, violent persistent felony.
Where you from?
I'm from Fort Greene, Brooklyn.
Okay.
The projects, yeah. So I was on Rykers Island. When I first got there, I went from Queens House to HDM. And I landed in 7 Block. I was with me, Corey King, that you know.
Yeah. So shout out Corey. What up, boy?
Shout out Corey King. So we was in 7 Block. It was like majority of the people in the house was Muslim. Mm-hmm. This is the A side. The B side was mostly a lot of Spanish brothers. You know what I'm saying? So I was with Corey King. He had his own phone. Everything was situated. So when I came in, you know, red carpet was rolled out for me because that's like my little brother. I know him from like 12 years old. So we go back from forever.
Right.
Situation happening there, I don't want to expound on that because it's really irrelevant, but like with the Muslims, and wound up getting shipped out, go to the hospital because I got into an incident with the riot squad. Captain Bailey, who later became Warden Bailey. So I got broke up real bad. I came back to Rykers Island. So I started going to court. So I started hearing about Bloods, right? People in the bullpen, like, I be hearing little stories from the sideline, ear hustling. Yeah, the Bloods just cut a dude in one beat, which is like lockdown.
Yeah. And this is all on Rykers Island.
Yeah, so I'm like, blood? You talking about California Bloods?
Yeah,
they in the building?
Yeah.
They're like, nah, there's a blood. They got the red bandana and everything.
Can I ask a question before you finish? How old are you?
At that time, I was 28.
28. Yeah. Okay.
So I'm like, wow. I never heard that before. Bloods on Rykers Island, New York, in general.
Right.
I did know some Crips, though, that was uptown in Harlem, even before that, like 93, 92. So I go like a few court trips. I never seen a Blood yet. And the house that I was in didn't allow gang members. It was ran by Ty from Queens.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's
Ty, what up, buddy?
Shout out Ty, Troy, and the rest of them. Ronnie Mack was there, you know, so I'm in their house, so I'm like, I ain't never seen no blood or nothing. So one day I go to court, I see this real dark-skinned brother, bandana around his head, bandana in his pocket. I said, that must be one of them Bloods right there.
Yeah.
So he was in the bullpen.
That's a different sight for us over here.
So we in full restraint. His name is T. Quan. We in full restraint. I said, you one of them Bloods they be talking about? He's like, yeah, well, what's up? I said, no, I'm just asking you, brother.
Yeah.
He said, it's interesting. Are you from New York or are you from LA or something? He said, no, I'm from New York, from Brooklyn. I said, so Bloods is from Brooklyn? He said, no, Bloods from all over, far borough. I said, so where they at? I left the streets. I ain't never see a Blood out there.
Facts.
I'm flabbergasted about it. You got Bloods and Rykers I never heard of, and they not in the streets at the time, so I wouldn't have heard about it anyway, right? So I had a little conversation with him, but I wasn't interested anyway. Time go on. So I started hearing a lot of stuff going on, like a lot of Latin brothers that was cutting a lot of black people. And
Cubans?
No, not Cubans. But, you know, it's like they might have started with one thing in mind, one objective in mind, the fight against oppression, but then they turn around to be the oppressor when they get too big in numbers. It's not hard to control them, right?
Right.
So I'm like, man, that's a lot of stuff going on, man, with these situations with brothers getting cut. And I ain't talking about just black people. It's Spanish brothers that was neutral getting cut, too. Taken advantage of. You go into a house, it's either ran by Latin Kings or Nietas, and they got things locked down, and they be trying to pressure you to get drugs and all type of stuff. I wasn't going through none of that. CK wasn't going through none of that.
Yeah.
But those are the ones that turn Blood anyway, those that wasn't going through it. People might say, quote, unquote, people join Bloods for protection. Maybe in some situations, maybe in Chicago, California, and even maybe in New York, because you go to school and it's predominantly Crip, so you might want to turn Crip, or you go to school predominantly Blood, you might want to turn Blood. But on Rykers Island, you can't join for protection because once you join Blood, you done brought on more beef than you ever had in your life.
Right.
And we outnumbered, outgunned like 30-1. So I wasn't interested at first, but I started seeing a lot of brothers get hurt, and I'm like, man, that's messed up, man. Like, man. So it wasn't until a brother named Killer Kev came down from upstate that was Blood. And he told me, he confided me, yo, I'm Blood. You know, I've been Blood since 93, whatever. Yo, this is what we about. So he started breaking it down to me. Then it started sounding more like revolutionary. So it got my attention now. So I'm like, wow, I like that. I like the sound of that, man. But I got a lot of Spanish people I mess with, too. Like, my grandfather's from Puerto Rico, from Lorenzo.
Okay.
So, you know, that's where the dark skin comes from. But I don't want to go against my people.
Well, the Africans, you know, they took over Puerto Rico. That's what it was. You know, that's what it was over there.
Right.
So you're gonna have it in you.
So he had me so intrigued by it. I like, man, what? I'm facing a lot of time anyway, man. What I got to lose, man? Sign me up. He said, I've got to give you an oath. I got to teach you some things, this, and the third. Usually the standards where you got to put some work in. But if you already had a quote-unquote name for yourself, you have to do all that.
Right.
So he wanted to give me a little ceremony. I found out it was actually 3 other people in the house that was Blood I never even knew about. So the little ceremony, and I turned Blood. The first incident we got into was with a guy named Drama, rest in peace, from the Bronx. That was CK, man. Right. He had an issue with the Spanish cat from 7 block. He moved down to 2 block. And we was on the company one day, and I was just waking up. As a matter of fact, Ty brother Troy wrote me up and said, yo, man, it's got these dudes came down the block. A CK man, he got an issue with the Spanish brother from 7 block. He sent word over here to 2 block. So now the brothers in the back, was a lot of Dominicans back then. Luca and them were Dominicans. So my man Julio and them, so they like, you know, everybody start coming to the front of the company, and it's got crazy. So we thought on it and like, yo, listen, man, well, we're going to hold them down. So that turned to a whole big situation, man. So at this time, this still the beginning stages of Blood. So back to the Blood situation, at the time, we was non-trade gangsters.
Non-trade.
Right? And we was the only hood on the island. There was no other hoods at the time. And at the time, before the name non-trade came, was just New York Bloods. But they had no real concept. Little did we know that the guy who we formerly used to call OG Mac, we used to call him Omar now, he had really no concept of blood. He just lied to everybody and had us believing that we had the connection with California and we on board, they on board.
And he wasn't blood.
And we wasn't. Right. We wasn't even really official in California eyes, but Mac had us believe that.
Yeah.
So he sold that as, look,
Yeah.
this is what, you know.
He's from L.A., him and his brother, and they got ties over there, and they came to New York, and they tried to set up shop in the Bronx, and then he got locked up. So, he put together an island because of the oppression against the black and neutral Latinos, so we bought into it.
Right.
So it was all banging non-trade, whatever. CK always ended up in 2 Block. We went out when that situation, I told you, we all went out. We got into a big situation and got shipped out the building, whatever. So as time went on, it started growing a little bit, but we still was outnumbered, outgunned. I'm talking about like 30-1.
What year now?
It's still like early 95 now.
95.
We outnumbered, outgunned, right, by Latin Kings and Nietas. My only thing was the good standards I had with Latin Kings from being up north with them, from Collins in 1985 all the way through Clinton, other different jails. So a lot of the older kings knew me. So they would tell the younger kings, yo, Shaquell, he off limits, man. Like, he a good brother, man. If he in the building, man, work with him. So when I go to different buildings, that's the reason why the kings wouldn't get involved when I'm in a particular building, because when I'm there, they just hands off on bloods.
Right.
The Nietas was a different story. A lot of those, what you call like Hibaros, they like countryside, they didn't even care. A lot of them was racist, so they didn't care. So a lot of my conflict came with them. But on my whole time on the island, I did put a lot of work in. I don't want to go too specifics, but the only situation I had that came my way was the Nietas.
They came at you.
Did they? So this guy named Lil Mario, he put something up one day on YouTube, story about how OG Shaquell got jumped by the Nietas. He put a little humor into it, but he didn't do it to be spiteful, to do it to try to get some clout. He just telling the story. And he told it accurately. So what happened was, that's the first time I've been in a situation where I felt that off. And they got me. I'm done off now. I was in C-73. I just came from HDM. So I'm walking around the building. I got, red bandanas on and everything. So then they watching me, their eyes on me. Yo, this guy just came in the building. They think it's OG Shaquell. Yo, he did this to the manito, which is their brother in Spanish, whatever.
Yeah.
So they had like a green light on me.
Yeah.
So one day I go to the yard because this guy had snitched on a friend of mine, and I was going to look for him in the yard. And I get out there, it's like 30 Nietas out there.
Huh.
And they doing that little ceremony. You got their hands crossing the head, and they chanting. I'm like, oh, man. But I didn't even think about it. But, like, look, it's 7 black people out there. Me and 6 other black people.
6 other blacks, yeah.
But it's like 12 Latin kings. So I'm walking around the yard, and Nietas first didn't say nothing. Now you got this guy, Kojak, in the window, supposed to be in the head Nieta. He's speaking to him in Spanish about what they need to do to me. So I get to the Latin kings, they stop me, and they're like, yo, you good? Like, yeah, I'm good. Yo, you holding? I'm like, yo, what's up? Yo, be careful. They talking about you right now in the Spanish. The window, just be on point. They might try to move on you.
Yeah.
I'm like, all right, good looking. So I kept on walking. So as I walk around and I'm going back toward the area, a guy that was in front of me told him, yo, you can't come over here, go the other way. So he detoured and went the other way. Me, I just kept walking. So now they say, oh, you can't come through here. So they start spreading like a horseshoe. So I'm like in the front. So now the Spanish guy in the background yelling something in Spanish, but he's really telling them, because I don't understand no Spanish. Not even poquito. He's yelling in Spanish that's the guy Shaquell. That's the guy Shaquell. That did something to my manito. That's him. So now dudes like, I can see them form a little bit. So I'm like, yo, what's up? Why y'all trying to crowd me? So they got, yo, you can't walk over you. Why you walk over? I said, I walk where I want to walk. Like, all right. So they like, oh, yeah, really? And the guy from the sideline caught me, snuffed me. And I turned around. We started fighting. And then, like, out of 30 of them, 15 of them just rushed me.
Yeah.
Whoa. Next thing I know, I was on the floor. It was broad daylight, but it was early, too, like 8 o'clock. The sun wasn't really out yet, but it was still bright. When I was on that floor, I seen darkness. Because it was like every leg, arm, body was just blocking all gaps of sunlight to get in. So now I'm curled up. I can't do nothing. I'm curled up. So I'm feeling kicks when I got a big chain on it, a nice Cuban. So I feel somebody trying to get up under my jacket, like, oh, hell no. I start holding it tight. And I just heard my friend's voice said, "Get the fuck off of me!" Kicked the dude in the face that was bending over me.
Yeah.
I tell you this, it was so many of them. That's why they didn't get nothing off. No cuts, no stab if they had anything, and no
too many
because it was too many. They hitting each other.
Yeah, a few niggas will whip your ass way better than a bunch.
So that's what saved me. So when he kicked that guy in the face, everybody spread out and backed up. And next thing you know, dude just ran over and started fighting the 6 black people that was in the yard with me.
They helping. 2
of them I don't even know. One from Queens, from Astoria. Shout out to Cormega and his friend Black. They just came over. I don't even know them from nowhere. They helped.
Shout out Cormega. What up, boy?
So we know, yeah, that's right, fact.
Yeah.
So we getting on until the squad came and man, long story short, I got shit out the building. So I got the building. I go to Beacon. It's a whole other situation over there. So you had King Tone over there. Now, even though I had no issue with the Lion King, King Tone was trying to promote the movement against me. You know what I mean?
Mm.
But they wasn't going for it. So I stayed there for a while. And I'm going back to HDM. Now at that time, we still was low in numbers, and we wasn't really structured yet. Now, Omar comes from up north, Mac.
Yep.
His decision was this, which was a good one in some ways, but in bad in the other way, the gift and the curse. He wanted to expand, but you couldn't expand because you only had one set. And when you got one set, you only have like really one central leader. Mm. And when you have one leader, everybody might not agree with that leader. I don't know him.
Right.
I'm going on to Chris Guy, I'm going to Dinero or Shaquell. I don't know him like that. I'm
right.
from Broad, I'm from Queen, whatever. Nah. So people wasn't joining the ranks. So we still was slow in numbers for our numbers growing. So Matt came up with the decision that
it sounds like social media.
Right. Yeah. Followers are there.
Followers, yeah.
So,
got to get your followers up, man.
So Matt came up with the bright idea. Wanted to start new hoods. So if I put together new hoods and put individuals in position of those hoods, people will get in where they fit in.
Yeah.
Some are joining because they mess with you. Some fuck with Dinero. They join because they fuck with Dinero. So that's what happened. So I think one of the first hoods was Mad Stone. Well, up north they already have 5'9" Brim. So I forgot to say that part. So now you're on the island, they have like Mad Stone and Mad Dog and then Valentine. Next thing you know, it started growing. A little bit, not really a lot yet. Meanwhile, he wanted to put together what he called the UBN. And the UBN, he wanted 5 people right under him. And that was me, Big Iz, Tankhead, Deadeye, and Wayno. So we became the High 5. And as hoods are still growing, that's when I get a letter one day from CK. CK like, yo, listen, man, they start all these new hoods, man, and I want to put my own hood together. So what I did, I came together, me and Pimp over here was in the Bing, and I started GKB, Gangsta Killer Bloods. I'm like, wow, he started his own shit. How you gonna do that? You gotta get permission, right? But he said, I want you involved, to help me build the structure and all that, put it together. So I know him and Mac had a strain in their relationship at the time because something happened in the Beacon and a homie had got cut.
Right.
And by, I think, Latin King. So CK and I went to Mac and told Mac, yo, they just cut the homie. You got to, basically going to pop off. We about to get busy.
They want to go.
So Mac on something, yo, just chill, fall back. Let me see what's going on first. So CK and like, what? So CK and went out there and put that work in.
Yeah.
In a major way.
Yeah, CK put in work.
Yeah, he put work in. So he goes, he leaves and go to HDM, and I guess he must have told brothers downstairs in 1B about Mac, and he didn't get down with it. Whatever he said, it got back to Mac, so Mac really ain't like him. So as much as you might feel you want to start your own set and you want to do it and you're just taking it, it don't work like that all the way because at the end of the day, Mac has still a lot of control. And it would cause a lot of problems for us. Not say we couldn't handle the weight, but I mean, what's different? We already going against 30-1 against Latin Kid Nithis, so it don't make a difference. But the right way would have been to reach out to Mac and say, this is what we want to do. So Mac said, all right, man, I'm going to let you do it because I fuck with you. So we got off the ground. CK was always like, I was like his big brother anyway, so he always like, yo, you take the front line, I'm just going to play the back, man. If you need me to shoot whatever, clap something, I'm with it.
He did.
But other than that, man, you take care of the front end. So that's what we did. And it was some notable players on the team. It was CK, me, Pimp was involved. My man KB, shout out KB, Rob Lowe, and a couple other hitters, and Master Killer. And then we started growing. Then you had like 1A Trey, they started their hood, and then BSV, Bloodstone Villain, and then Sex Money Murder, and it started growing from there. But
Was these mostly Brooklyn?
nah, it was like a combination of
All
all
over.
boroughs. Yeah, all boroughs. Even up to this day, like I say, Non-Trey and GKB is like one of the the two biggest. I say that because a lot of hoods, outside of brims and all that, because they want to, eventually down the line, years later,
Sure.
going on their own. You know what I mean? Independent. But I'm talking as far as us growing at that time, we grew in great numbers. So, we a lot of us started going upstate in '96. I Blue Tri, I got 20 to life, so I go up north. I'm in Sing Sing, and then the riot broke out. CK and I'm the starters from Chicago. He was in Sing Sing too when I got there. Him and Soul B, all of them in A block. I'm in B block in transit, waiting to go to another facility. They tear down over there. My boy Uni, shout out to Uni, he got hit, and then he turned around and pulled his down. He hit a dude. I think the dude died, and they resuscitated him back to life. It just got crazy.
Yeah.
It was crazy.
That era right there alone is a different era right there. So I already know.
But matter of fact, I forgot one part. We got crazy on Rykers Island because, I really don't like tell a lot of war stories though. But I would tell like
I don't. Look, I'm allowing you to do it, but we'll get to all of the stuff. But this is good background information to see where everything came from and where. And then we're gonna, like I said, this is all turning to business.
Right.
But go ahead.
So one time we was in North Facility. I remember Gambino, shout out to Gambino. He had got ambushed in one of the buildings by the Nietas. So I'm over and see I'm in North Facility. So I'm like, what? He got ambushed. Somebody came from court and told me that. So I'm like, oh man, we gotta turn up in here. So first thing I did, I go in the hallway. This guy, I don't know if I'm saying his name right, Canayo or something like that. Does that make sense? That name Canayo?
Canayo, no, I'm not sure.
It's a Spanish name.
Yeah, but there's so many. Could be
Canelo.
So he was in there supposed to be one of the heads. So we're in the staircase. It's me, a friend of mine in Uptown, and Baby J. None of them is blood. In fact, I'm the only blood in the population in that building.
Yeah.
So I told him what it is. We go in there. I'm talking to him like, yo, let me talk to you. I said, yo, what's up, man? Which I'm Manitos. This did one of my brothers dirty in another building. That's cool. But what I got an issue with is over here in this building, a friend of mine went to one of them houses that's ran by the Nietas, and they circle him because they seen him talking to me in the bullpen, and they assuming that he's blood, and they hit him up. I got a problem with that. You know what I'm saying? He like folded his arm real cocky and is like, I don't know what you're talking about. I gave it to him right there. I hit him. Then my man got involved, and the other two that was standing with him, they got hit. Then it just turned crazy in the staircase. While I'm chasing him down the staircase, and we turned around and went back upstairs. Went in that house. I guess the alarm got pulled, and they see them bleeding downstairs, and they came and searched the house areas. None of us got snatched up. So now it's turned up. Now they sent a green light on me. Nietas. The Kings told me again in that building. So I said, well, we're gonna get busy. So what I did was I had the two that was originally with me, and other brothers saying, I'm getting involved too, man. I'm holding you down too. So I got people joining me. They wasn't even in blood. I had my boy Just shouted out, he blood now. I had rest in peace Kentel from Queen, little Scar.
Yeah.
He got down with me. He was not with blood. He was Valentine or nothing. Like these 13 dudes got down with me. So we go to the clinic and we tore the clinic up. Squad had to come, the ERU had to come, emergency response unit, and it got ugly. So a lot of them got shipped out. I still was stuck in the building. The next day, going to the yard, we end up in the yard with the dorm side, which is where the Nietas on them at. We get to the yard, like 19 Nietas out there, like 5 of us. That's when Scar was still there with me. My boy Puddin, Spanish kid named LES, and another Spanish kid named Brown Eyes. We went out, and the guy named Pumpkin. We went out against the 19 of them.
Shout out Pumpkin.
Yeah, found out Pumpkin. But Kentel, only person got hurt was Kentel, little black eye, whatever. But that incident shipped me to C95. From C95, I was over there chilling. Nobody was causing no problems. And next thing you know, I started noticing we started growing more and more and more. So I wound up going upstate. Like I said, 96, we in downstate. Then I go from Sing Sing. From Sing Sing, I go to Attica. Then I start reading newspapers. I'm like, hold up, blood's in the street.
Yeah, they home.
Yeah.
Yeah, y'all came home. That's what it is.
Yeah, but I mean, we didn't. Yeah. That wasn't part of the plan. So we stuck. Like, dudes was going home and they was lying. They was saying that, I just left Rykers Island and whatever. Chris Gotti, who might have been a big homie, he gave me the spot to come out here and start out, and then dudes just joining the ranks. Like, so we like, yo, how the hell we get to the
that's how I started growing on the street.
Yeah, but
that's supposed to be a jail thing only. That's
they opportunists. That's it. They seen the opportunity.
Me and Chris, this is my brother, but we discussed that a unfortunately, if we were to get locked up, we might have to make it because they segregate us, right? And remember we discussed in prison that we could be great out here, but unfortunately, just the way the system, and it really, I mean, honestly, really, I mean, when you think about out in the West Coast, I don't know how much we have in the East Coast. What about the situation they deal as far as the Aryan nation and the white aspect of? I don't know how the East Coast.
Well, this is Rykers Island. So where he was talking about, then he said you was in Sing Sing.
Right.
So
no,
it's,
New York
it's
is different.
Yeah.
What I'm saying is that it's still the segregation aspect.
Oh
of
yeah,
it.
they
Whites,
separate.
Latinos. You know what I'm saying? Blacks, and then you got the Bloods and the different gangs.
On the West Coast, you got the Mexicans.
Exactly. That's a whole different.
Essays.
That's a whole different situation.
Oh
But
yeah,
I'm saying
they run it.
That's usually what happens. You have to, you get segregated. You get put in. You have to pick a spot, like he's saying, and that's how you were able to build it at the same time to protect each other.
And then, boy, did it built up too.
Once they came home and started building.
Not just home, even in Rykers Island, you start giving out all these different hoods. You had like 10 hoods in the beginning, so people's getting in where they fit in. Oh, I'm fucking with Chris. I'm
What year we talking?
It's 95. No, 96.
Now we in 96.
Yeah, so I'm like, yo, I'm going with Dinero.
See how ignorant I am. In 96, I still don't believe it's gangs in New York.
But they still start
You understand what I'm saying?
Even when I heard it, when 96, I was coming home. But even when I heard it, like even where I was at, it was, I was Cuban, so I get being Cuban in a weird way. It's kind of like being Italian. It's on, Cubans are usually on some mafia shit. They're not on. You get what I'm saying? That's kind of what we are. We're like the Jews of the Caribbean, the touch of Italian.
Yeah.
Right. So I was good with everybody. So when I was in prison, I was being Cuban. I was like, what pays the most?
Right.
They said paralegal, but I want to be that. So, you know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, I remember taking cases and the ones that were running certain stuff, but you didn't really have, you had a lot of the JCs, but they were Muslims, and they were the ones that were kind of moving. Right. The African Americans at that time
Where was you at?
I was in Jersey. I was in, I did time on 10, and originally I did some time on Newark when I was there for a minute, on 10-11, because of my charge or whatever, but then they sent me out to, at the time, it was Annandale. It's back in the 90s, and it was the oldest. That's before it turned it into a camp. And you had lifers there, you had different, and it was closer to Pennsylvania. It was cold. But it was just a different, what I'm trying to tell you, it wasn't no Bloods at the time. And I started in 92 and come to 96. But they wouldn't really have any Bloods. And you're just talking about Rikers, but now there's Bloods everywhere in Jersey, in every prison.
They everywhere.
Everywhere. But when I first
Ain't
came
that
home
right,
and
Bruce?
I started hearing about Bloods in New York, I thought it was kind of funny. Blood, the same. I mean, you were in it and you would help build it from the inside, but from the outside, you was
I lost at first. Like what?
You was like Bloods in New York. You thought it was,
It's kind of ridiculous at first.
You know what's crazy? One of my I started hearing about Bloods. Right, I wasn't locked up, so I'm on the street and I started hearing about Blood. I'm from Queens too. I'm from Hollis, and then we started going up to what's the Flex was the DJ there. What's the name of that nightclub? The Tunnel. Man, my mind is like going crazy. Started going to the Tunnel, seeing Bloods all up in the Tunnel. Real rap. That's how I first met Jim Jones. He's running around with them Harlem Bloods. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? In the Tunnel.
Entree, yeah.
In the Tunnel, though. You know what I'm saying? And that's where I really was like, oh, okay, this really moving over here. That was really my first understanding that this gang culture is coming this way. And again, you can't be in a gang really without opposition, in my opinion. Like, that's what a gang to me is. Like, there's going to be an opposition. So it was inevitable. You started seeing Crips and you started seeing all these other gangs also start formulating. I go left, someone's going to say, fuck left, I want to go right, no matter what it is. So, that's natural. That's, to me, that's like universal law. You're going to get that. No matter what you do, you're going to get your opposers to whatever you're doing. Nothing's going to be 100%. You know what I'm saying? So that's when I started seeing it in the Tunnel, really, was when I caught it coming from Queens. I didn't see it in Queens like that at all. Heard about it, but I didn't see it in Queens.
First time I hit Queens was 1996. Rest in peace, brother named Fat Cat. He started in Edgemere and Far
You said
Rockaway.
Fat Cat,
Yeah, that got
not
killed.
that Fat Cat. You
No,
said
no,
rest
no,
in peace.
no.
You said rest in peace. I only know the main Fat Cat.
Nah,
Shout
I
out,
ain't talking
shout
about-
out Fat Cat.
I'm talking about Busy. I'm
Yeah,
talking about,
yeah, I understand.
You know, the Fat, he from Queens, from Far Rockaway,
Because Fat
Edgemere.
Cat ain't dead. That's why I'm like, what? Wait a minute.
Kid from Edgemere called
Yeah,
himself Fat Cat.
called
He's
himself Fat
official,
Cat.
too.
All right,
He started
got
in
it.
Far Rockaway. Then I started hearing about Albany Products in Brooklyn, like the home base of GKB at the time.
Mm-hmm.
Then it started spreading out. 9 Trey started spreading out. It got crazy like in less than a year.
Right.
Everywhere.
Got it.
So only thing I didn't like about it is that a lot of us, not all of us, but a lot of us started off fighting against oppression, what it really stood for. Brotherly love overrides our oppression and destruction. But then you have people join in for their
Say
own.
that again. Say that again. You said it
Brotherly
fast.
love
Yes.
overrides our destruction.
Okay.
Overrides our destruction.
Sure.
And there's different other variations of the acronym. But I believe that a lot of people came in with bad intentions.
Financial.
Hidden agendas, personal gain.
Personal gains. I know that's what I seen out of the gang culture. It was a lot of, again, the strength. You got the strength, you ended up getting that money too.
Yeah, man. So it started going left, and I really was against it. I ain't the most perfect person in the world, but I wasn't in it for personal gain. I wasn't in it with bad intentions, to go left with the purpose. The purpose was to fight against oppression, to stand up, especially against those that couldn't stand up for themselves. Because a lot of us, let's face it, a lot of the Bloods that turned blood was already official dudes. There was no punks like that. I knew it back then. You had to put work in it, come in, all types of stuff. So usually you want to get involved with that, you just stay to yourself, mind your business, and maybe get punked or whatever at the end of the day. But if you turn blood, like I said, you took on more beef than you ever had in your life. So
At that time,
there's no protection with that. But as soon as you walk in the building, they on you. Latin Kid Netta is on you. They on you. And at the time, there was no Crips at the time.
Right.
So while I'm up north and hearing about the streets, next thing I know, I start hearing about Crips popping up.
Yeah.
Now me, I'm colorblind. My beef wasn't with the Crips. Like I can show
How
my
old?
phone
What
right
year
now.
is that?
It's like 96, going to 97.
97.
Yeah, I start. So and up to this day, I'm real good with people like P. Gutter, Syke, who really one of the originals.
And this was inside. You caught. That's when you started
I
seeing
caught wind
Crips.
of it. Yeah.
See, on the street for me, I probably didn't start seeing Crips till 2000.
But the Crips started on the street, not inside.
No, the streets. Yeah.
But I started seeing the Crips like
And this area,
real
you're talking about New York.
affiliation dudes in the Crips on the street, probably in 2000, maybe 99. But that's how late I am. That's what I'm saying, because everything I try to explain, all these trends and cultures start inside first. They come from inside, then they come out. It's usually someone telling them what to do, and then you do it out here, and that's the culture that starts that trend, and everyone's doing it. But it really was from inside.
Right.
Yeah.
So I just like 97 came. So then you had like, it started getting to the point where it was getting overcrowded.
Yeah.
And it was outgrowing the purpose, the intent. People start doing anything and everything. Now they making other extra enemies. We don't just have Latin King and Nittas enemies now, even though Nittas was even in the picture no more. They didn't have faded out somewhat. Kings are still around. But now we picking up different enemies now, because a lot of the brothers up north doing anything and everything, getting weed, whatever, not paying. That starts a war. Over here, you snatch the old timer chain. He had his chain up north since 1983. He just took his chain. that starts a war, right? The brothers start being abusive, start like being bullies to some extent. And then as time go a little more further, like let's say 98, it got so crucial. We had to start a whole day where we just got rid of people. You out, you out, you out, you out. You ain't part of this no more. That wasn't working too good, because for every 20 people you kick out the day, 50 more came in through different reception centers on the streets, from upstate New York. It's in Buffalo now. It's in Rochester. It's in Albany. It's everywhere. It's connected.
everywhere.
Then you start hearing it's in Rhode Island,
Akron,
Ohio,
Little Rock,
Georgia.
Arkansas.
South Carolina, North Carolina.
Believe me, I was out
Jersey.
there.
New
I
Jersey
seen
is,
it. It's out there.
See, Jersey, they not a lot of non-Trey out here. A lot of shines, a whole lot of shines out the hood that I was part of.
Go ahead, but I want to find out what made you leave.
All right, in 99, by that time, well, let me say 98 first. I first started hearing whispers of Omar Mac being a rat,
Yeah.
but I had no proof of it. two people that came from Easton when they was with Don Q, brother we both know.
Yeah, Don Q. Shout out Don Q. What up, boy?
So, yeah, shout out Don Q. So, they saying, yo, I just came from Easton. This guy down there named Don Q got paperwork on Omar. He told him. I was like, what? Now, the only time I heard that before that was a brother named Rudy. He had mentioned it a couple of times. I heard it whispered through the, behind the scenes. So, after that happened, CK went through a situation in Southport saying that Mac was a rat.
Mm-hmm.
Me personally, I'm not saying nothing until I got
Evidence
because all I'm doing is putting a bullseye on my back and the person that told me back.
Right.
My good brother, he's streets right now. He the one that, I ain't really jacked, nobody else had told me that, but when he came and told me, I said, damn, son, he's a solid dude, and I know him for a while, and I trust his judgment, his word, right? So I'm like, man, that's a hard one right there. But I can't say nothing because it'll be truth out of season. I don't have the proof.
Right.
So.
They say where there's smoke,
there's fire.
Right.
Burn, Hollywood, burn.
So what I did, I wrote Don Q.
Yeah.
I said, this is who I am, blah, 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 blah. And if you got any paperwork on this brother, because the brother is coming from Easton saying that you showing the paperwork, whatever, I need to see a copy of that, and I'm going to take care of it on my end. He ain't never answered back. After CK had a situation, I wrote Don Q again. He never answered. I never met Don Q until recently, like about 2 years ago, maybe a year and a half ago, and he told me he received both my letters, so I know he did get it. At first thinking, maybe he ain't get it, but man, I need that information. That's something.
But he didn't send it.
So after a while, he didn't send it. So after a while, more and more people coming forward that they was on Rykers Island when it was all going on, and this, that, and the third. And then Mac had lied about some other stuff with dealing with Tom Cross when I was in Attica, saying he killed his brother who was also, quote unquote, a blood when he wasn't a blood. So there was a lot of situation between me and Tom Cross. Up to this day now, we've been squashed it, and he writes me on emails from jail now, all that. But at the time, it was crazy.
Yeah.
He was brother trying to move on him. Then they ended up getting the worst end of the stick. So now you got little homies getting hurt. All this called this guy Omar lied. You know what I'm saying? So I started getting fed up at the period of time. And I think the worst thing for me was my name was being used because I was one of the high trade at the time. We had high final, we had high trade. So my name was respected. A lot of people looked up to me. So in the streets, it'll be like this. You might be blood. I'm going to get rid of Chris Gotti, man. I don't like he makes too much money over here. I know what to do. And I just got word from Shaquell. My AK was cold rare. He just said that it's a green light on Gotti. He got to go. People did not question it.
Right.
It was on you.
Yeah, there ain't no green light on me.
So I'm up north. I'm getting letters up north. Yo, big bro, my name is so-and-so. I know you don't know me like that, but that's fucked up because I look up to you even though I never met you. But you got people out here, they try to shoot me. They hit my man by accident. And because you sent word and said that, boom, 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 but you don't know the true story. I'm like, yo, who is this? I never sent no word. So now people in the streets are manipulating names.
Yeah.
They're using names. I'm like, wow, this is serious. I can go to feds for this because I never okayed nothing. So I started already pulling back already from that. I mean, this is not just one incident. We're talking about multiple incidents. I could think of 5 on top of my head, like people using my name, 1 in jail and 4 on the streets. So I'm like, oh, man, that's one thing. And then the fact that, that people talking about Mac was no good and he's a rat, and these are key people that I know stand-up dudes, they telling me he no good. So I'm like.
Did you find out about that or no?
I never found out until a little later. Okay. And I got the proof a little later.
Okay.
You go to the newspapers, law cases, when Don Q finally got the reversal. You read it right there. Now people say, yo, you was right. But at first, I was going off the whim that people that told me I'm trusting their judgment, but my hands is tied. I can't publicize it because I don't have no proof. You know what I mean? So I grew up in that, and I grew up in that circle. People that we don't have no proof, we don't even speak on it. So I was already ready to pull back. So now when Mac about to go home, he says, yo, I'm leaving everything to you. I'm like, oh, man, I'm already ready to leave anyway on down low. Nobody know I'm ready to leave.
Right, but you've been made the decision. You're just looking for the right time.
Maybe I can just stay. Maybe it can help, build it back up, build a morale back up or whatever. But then you had the brother B.I. both of them is. He writes Mac, and he's like, yo, how you going to put him up there? I was home before he came home, how you going to overlook me? We both was under the high trade. So Mac said, both of y'all both control the situation.
Yeah.
I'm going home. So it's going to be cold GF with you. I wasn't too enthusiastic about it because we think differently. He's a reactionary. I was more of a thinker, more calculating,
plotting,
more structure.
Yeah, you was plotting.
So it's going to work out. House divided against itself can't stand. So I already had, now I'm really in my mind like, man, I'm ready to go, man. So as time went on, you know, when you're a part of something and you put a lot into something, you just don't want to leave like that.
Right.
So I came with a different plan. I said, I'm going to start something new on the side that's still going to be blood related, but it's going to be separate from this. Because what another things I didn't like about when I had the UBN was, it was like a lot of big homies that was different hoods resented each other. Mm-hmm. And when they resent each other, they pass that seed on to their young bros that's under them. So now you got this guy, you got your hood, and you got your hood, but you don't like him. So now your people, your drops is under you, don't like your people in your hood, and it's getting real messy.
Man, it's nothing like a mess. Yeah. So that's what. So you started your own thing, or you went and moved on from there?
Yeah, I moved on. I started this thing called United Blood Militia, and the reason why I started that because I wanted something brand new.
United Blood Militia.
Yeah, I wanted something brand new off to the side that had nothing to do with the old politics and everything of the past generations.
Yeah.
Well, my new vision was to have a hood that had no big homies, no little homies, no big me, no little.
Is that possible?
It was possible. Like,
is it possible
yeah,
for
possible.
real?
Yeah, because I didn't even have a position in my own thing.
Okay.
Like, I wanted everybody to be equal on the same page. You know, like when I was years ago, I was a 5%er. So you know, in the 5% nation, it was like leadership amongst the people. You had elders, but you had no central leadership. Like. No
but niggas was getting their ass whipped if they didn't know they lessons now.
Is water wet?
Yeah. You know, shout out BM, Born Master.
Yeah, Born Master.
You know what I'm saying? Shout out Born Master. You know, Supreme, he was big with the whole 5%er thing.
Oh, I remember Supreme, Big Judgment from Baisley. Oh,
yeah.
I was about there, they had that crew called Infinity Machine.
Yeah.
Like, I was in Rosedale back
then. Today's lessons, God.
I ain't nobody in the safe.
I wasn't a 5% either. I ain't bang. I was no 5%.
Buy for less, sell for more.
But yeah, you know that. So you let it from there. So say that name again. What did you say?
United Blood Militia.
United Blood Militia. Okay.
Right. And I was just trying to put people on board that was really they knew what the purpose of our existence was. Mm-hmm. They was following the rules and regulations. They had structure. I wanted them to come on board with me. I ain't had no big homie.
Did you get resistance from the existing?
Not at first. Nobody. When I was
when
I was at Southport, I didn't get no resistance.
Yeah.
I was bringing people on board. People was joining the ranks and everything. When I left and went to Comstock, and when people, the meddlesome people wanted to get involved and like, yo, you got to go back to where you was at. You got to go back to where you was at. You can't. That ain't official.
Yeah.
I was not official. I was a godfather at the time.
Yeah, but that was too much power for one man to have.
Right, and they didn't want that because you know why they didn't want that?
Yeah,
because everybody started gravitating to me.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, that's a lot of power.
So the ones that figure they're gonna take over, we ain't gonna have nobody. We're gonna give all the good people. So let's just crush that right now. So they start politicking. So now I'm in Comstock. I'm in administrative segregation, going back and forth with this politics, all type of stuff. So after a while, from people flying so many letters, which some people in jail call kites.
Kites, yeah.
It was getting intercepted. Now the administration in Albany, New York, central office, they had the kites. So now they reading what I started. So now they reading when I'm started. Now they come to my gate one day. I'm in the box and telling me, yeah, we know this new stuff you started, and you're trying to, and now you got beef for UBN. And they, oh man, so
they know everything.
I just avoid the mission, right? Aborted the mission.
Abort.
Yeah, aborted the mission. Yeah, over it. I wrote people out that I was down. I said, yo, man, forget it, man. It ain't no good. They already know too much already. You ain't even go off the ground yet. So then, I laid back. I was part of the Stone family for a minute, and then I just was doing my thing. Now, one of the other reasons why I originally left UBN is because although I was like the face of GKB at the time, CK was always the brainchild. So when he was going through his situation, me and him had a little struggle in our relationship at the same time. Mm-hmm. So I felt like this. He gonna eventually get it straightened out, but eventually truth gonna come out that Mac is a rat. I'm just gonna pull off, go do my own thing, because I don't want to bring GKB outside of UBN and make it independent based off of solely my decision. That would be selfish. Yeah. Because some people might be GKB figure, I don't want to leave UBN. I want to stay UBN. I want to be part of the whole big nation, the whole big scheme of things. Why are you making us go independent? Now it's gonna be by ourselves. Right. So I didn't want to do that. So that's why I started doing my own thing. So while I was doing that, time was going on, I was still stoned. You know, then you get a little older, you get a little more wiser. Like, man,
Things change.
not really involved in
Not
politics
breathing.
no more.
I'm breathing different, B.
Yeah. I'm not involved in the politics no more. I'm not trying to get caught up in calling shots, pushing, you know, whatever I was doing. I didn't want to do that no more.
Yeah.
But, you know, I guess, you know, you wind up coming back home.
Right.
You know, so when I came home, I was in Attica. I went back to GKB, you know, but I came back in an unofficial capacity. Like, I don't have no seat. I don't call no shots. I'm just there. I'm one of the foundation members. That's all I came back as. You call me for a party, I'm going to a party. I don't do no meetings. I don't do none of that.
Right.
And that's pretty much where me and CK both at. Like, you know, we just lay low, man. Be easy, man. We had our time, you know.
You did it.
Yeah. Just call me to a party, have a good time, bowling or whatever, and I'll go back home. That's it.
Say less.
Yeah.
So after you set that forth, what's the next phase in that
life,
took place? Yeah.
Well, I came home, like I said, you know, and I started going to parties and everything. But I had a goal when I came home. I wanted to give back to the community.
When you say you came home again, I just want to get the timeline.
From
How
jail.
long? No, but how long was that? How long?
I did 22 years.
22 years when you finally got back home.
2016, September.
Wow.
So I got hit at my first board of year. My second board of year, I had 20 to life initially. I did 22. Out of 22, I did like maybe close to 15 years between administrative segregation and regular punitive segregation time in the box.
Right.
So all of us in the box regardless. But, you know, I kept my mind clear. I did a lot of writing. I wrote a lot of books and lost a lot of books. Like every time I write a book, they'll search my cell. Oh, we're going to take your book and see if it's gang-related. Because I'm not supposed to have gang-related material myself.
Sure.
Then I never
Contraband.
see the book again. I never see the book again.
Right.
They took my book. You know, that was my plan to, you know, better myself when I come home. So I finally come home. But before I came home, I was looking at the newspaper and I seen this agency was up by a brother named Shan Duke McFadder, and he's known as Trife Gangster. He was, you know, in GKB. So I'm reading the stuff they do in the community. They're funded under the Mayor Office to Prevent Gun Violence. They're working in the communities to cease senseless gunfire, right?
Right.
I said, I want to get part of that. So I came home, but I didn't go to Trife right away. I went to Man Up in East New York.
Yeah, I know Man Up.
A.T. Mitchell, yes. I went to his office, spoke to the brother Buddha. He said, we're going to contact, give you a call. I'm like, all right, that's over there by Linden and Van Sicklen.
Mm-hmm.
So I didn't get a call from right away. So anyway, days go by. We met up on the block, on CK block, and Trife was there. I said, yeah, I like the work you're doing. I read you in the paper, you know, and that's work I want to get into. So I went to Man Up. And they supposed to give me a call. He said, you went to Man Up. Why didn't you just come to me? I said, I didn't know. I didn't know how to reach you. He said, yo, I got a hiring panel coming up soon. So I went to the hiring panel. I got hired as an outreach worker. Usually you start as a violence interrupter. A violence interrupter is the ones that go into the streets. They find out, you know, what's going on. A lot of them got relationships with people in the hood. So they go out there, they hear about this beef that's brewing. It's about to turn to something else. They try to go in there and intercept the transmission of the violence before it really gets to the gunshots. That was their job. After that.
What was that title?
Violence interrupters, yeah.
I've been a violence interrupter damn near my whole life.
You're doing a good job. So
for real.
Actually,
for real.
Yeah.
For real. I'm a little VI.
Actually, that program started under Cure Violence in Chicago. Mm-hmm. And one of the good brothers that run the Cure Violence model, and you know, you go around the nation teaching it, a brother named Kobe. That's a good friend of mine. I met him during like different, you know, venues and places that we dealing with the Cure Violence situation. So I got involved. I became an outreach worker. I work with the kids, help them get jobs or find out what they want to get into. Want to get into music, try to get you some studio time. You want to play sports, try to get you into a sports situation, right? And it was doing good. And maybe 4 months later, I became an outreach worker supervisor. So I now had a team of people under me, and we was doing good work. The model was basically based off of 3 different components, and one is interrupt the transmission of violence, right? Mm-hmm. Then you get the kids to come to the office to deal with the outreach worker, which was me at the time. And then what we do is try to change the kids' mindset, show them a better way of things. Yeah. And at the same time,
that's the key.
Right. And we interact with the community, and you change the community norms, because all the shootings and killings, everything going on was like was normalized in the community.
You know, the reason I'm doing this is to teach the kids
that
the youth, let's say, that there's other ways to get money, opportunities. See, when you was in the hood, if there was an opportunity, you might have turned violent to get money.
Right.
That's my case. You know what I'm saying? And I figured out how to get money. I didn't want to see the violence no more.
Right.
There was no need for it. And again, as many, let's say, like I said, real, I call them gangsters, whatever you want to call them, people that you deal with, as soon as they have an opportunity to do something and they see that they don't have to do it that way, they choose the right way.
Right.
It's just they have to get shown the opportunity because maybe where they're from, they never understood, they didn't get it. They may not even went to school. Who knows? It's all types of different reasons. The environment they was around was only about one thing, and that's all they did. But once you show them an opportunity on how to get money, right, and the things they could do, they want to do it. And that's really what I did. It's funny because Murder Inc., I always go back because the feds, when they came for Murder Inc., they was mad because I hired so many ex-cons. Right. And they was like, what are you doing hiring ex? They used to come to my house trying to get me to talk about shit with Preem, which was not even an option. And it's like they come every day to the house or whatever, and they want me to talk about, why am I hiring these ex-cons? I said, why are you bothering me about it?
Right.
I'm giving them a real job,
right,
a real profession. Paying taxes, and then they're not out in the streets doing nothing wrong, and you're complaining because I'm giving these people the opportunity. You know what I'm saying? But I said, if I don't, who will?
Right.
I said, y'all ain't going to do nothing but try and lock them back up.
There are no programs for that.
You understand? There's nothing to help these dudes, like to give them or show them an opportunity, and that's what I want to do. When I start Adventure Music, what you see there is to teach independent artists. So that, when you think about music and rap, we went into so many areas and have changed so much business. If you look at any commercial, TV shows, there's music from our culture in it. We created that. We should own that. So what I want to do is show all of the independent artists how to own that so they don't have to deal with not having that intellectual property, which is a record that you make. You know what I'm saying? All that music you make is intellectual property. You own it. Here's how you exploit it to make money. Right. That's what I do with Adventure Music. I educate. Distribution is easy. There's mad companies that do distribution. There's none that trying to teach you how to do it so you make the money the right way. Right. For the long terms. This will be something you could give to your kids down the road. You know what I'm saying? This is that type of money. There's no end date in music. Right. So it's forever. So, when you do it right, it'll generate money. It's timeless. It'll make money for that long, and that is what you want. So when I go in the hood, I always tie it back because it's very simple. Everything to me is simple. I try and make it as simple as possible. And I just know that all the dudes that I knew from the street was because there was a lack of opportunity. Right. Whether the people think they had one or not, it doesn't matter what you think they had. It's what they think they have. So if they don't think they have an opportunity, they don't have an opportunity. Right. And that's what we did. We gave them opportunities. And I wouldn't just give them jobs. Niggas I didn't even know. I wasn't just saying, here, come and get a job. No. I made sure they wanted something. Right. You want to do this. You want to, and again, the feds didn't understand. I said, you should be giving me a fucking award or something, not coming here bothering me. Right. You know what I'm saying? They was mad. I used to tell them, you picked the wrong job. Don't be mad at me. You miserable because of that. I'm like, I'm just doing what I did. I don't know. Me and my brother, we just worked our ass off. But they know that. Right. They know everything. Just like you said, they read all your letters. This ain't no different. It don't matter. They know everything. Yeah. They know how I grew up. They know who I was around. They know what I was about. They know the type of person I am. When they investigate you. They got CIs
for all that.
They got CIs for everything. Niggas you don't even know is a CI. And you're like, God damn, who is that? When I read all my paperwork, I'm like, I don't even know these people. How could they know me? They trying to save their own asses. You know what I'm saying? It's crazy, but there's CIs everywhere. You know what I'm saying? So you're right. They know everything, man. There's nothing. And it's worse today inside. Right. The day they used to have what? Paper parties, right? Where you had to come bring your paperwork to make sure you wasn't telling. They got rid of all of that because they know the only way they get a case is because they get someone telling. Right. If people understood that, they would understand they could win and they could stay safer.
Now today, they're even accepting the snitches.
They accept the snitches.
You know what I'm saying? So I think that's where the era has changed. The fact that back then that was super taboo. You're one of them. Yeah. Now it's like, oh, it's cool. We can still do business. You only told on Pepito. You don't tell on me.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? It's like, nah, but you told like so it's a whole different day today. And then leadership, you know, when I hear you speak, you was someone that had a specific, if it was time to move, you moved with a purpose. You did.
Yeah.
And I think what's happening now when you see the violence is that the little young ones, in those cliques, and in those sects, and in those other situations, the leadership is terrible. So they're setting off violence all the time. They're saying that, right, compared to, you know, you've been with dudes that are leaders. When you speak to them, you can negotiate, we could talk, it's cool. And you said you had a situation where he was like, me? I don't, you had to, it's like that.
But Dinero's making a great point with leadership. And I'll tie it back with you, and I ask you that question is because when we don't have that leadership, it's really all over the place. Everyone's everywhere. You know, I had interviews for myself before that when I was interviewed and people asked me about certain eras, I said, yeah, they locked our generation up. Right. You know, I'm blessed. I navigated through all of that, but all of my friends was locked up that I grew up with. So we didn't get a chance to raise our kids. Yep. So there is no leadership, and that's what led to a lot of this
lack of structure,
chaos, and that's what I was saying. Like, look, you did 22 years again in that era. You couldn't have did anything to help people back home. You're dealing with something inside and really survival on a day-to-day basis with all of all of the violence inside there at that time.
I think one of our accomplishments was while we was inside is like we started reading the newspaper like in '97, a whole bunch of slashings. People on the subway, older ladies, grandmothers, fathers, kids. Where does come initiate? What initiation? That's not even part of the program. That's not initiation. That's some people out in the streets is running around misleading leadership.
No, but Jay said, see, again, I might say something with that. Like when you're reading a newspaper, there's an agenda. There's an agenda by the newspaper. So they want the public that's reading the newspaper, they know it's not us, right? To have that fear that these gangs, so then they can make laws and rules to really.
Well, that's the whole point.
To really put pressure on that.
It was gangs.
Yeah.
Like the people out there, the bad seeds out there, teaching these kids the wrong thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got to put some work in. They just sending work on random people.
Yeah.
So what we made, a couple about like Tank had, a couple of we start writing the streets, and they listen, this is not what it's about, bro. If you want to take what it's about, then listen to us. We don't do that, and that's when the slasher starts slowing down, like 9/7, 9/8, 9. But before it was like out of control. Yeah. And not to say that it stopped totally, but a big portion to slow down. It had like a little 6 months run, then it slowed down.
Yeah, that is, again, it's so crazy. That gang culture, there's certain things about it that it just gets crazy.
I want to say something, it's important. I feel like the reason it works is because we all really want to belong to something.
Everybody.
My kids belong to gang, but it has to be the high school football team. No, and what they do is they all they got certain colors. Every school got their colors.
Yes.
They come together. They work hard.
I laugh because it's true.
No, I'm just making it. It's just, and then they go out and they bang out against someone else every Friday night and they go to war. We all want to belong. So now you take a kid who doesn't play football. Dad's not there.
Not in a fraternity.
Well, even that college, they want to belong to a fraternity.
All type of stuff.
Exactly. So now all of a sudden, let's take a kid, 13, 14 years old, doesn't have his dad. Mom's not around, or she's working all day, and his best friend all started standing her, and they start going. They want to be part of something. Yeah. They want to be part of something, and if you're not living in a specific neighborhood that is really nice, most neighborhoods, like you said, you have your block, you have your, and they end up gravitating. How many times, remember in our era, we played football, basketball, we would protect. Nah, you ain't. If you ever seen one trying to get into the streets, you'd be like, this ain't for you, better stay back.
Stay there. No, that was absolute.
Now you got basketball players. You ain't. I know maybe your cousin was, but you took the right route. I see you went to college. You were.
This ain't for you.
Right. So how you? And this is what I'm saying. Now everyone can rep a color. Everyone can be part of it. And I know hip hop has a lot to do with also. It's sensationalized and they've kind of gone. Yeah. But really, it comes down
to popularity of
everyone wants to belong to something. That's why the Murder Inc. movement was so big.
Yeah.
That's why, whatever it was, Block Road, whatever, everyone wants to be something. And if you're not part of a football, basketball team, if you're not, you're going to gravitate as a kid to a gang, most likely.
Absolutely. So, again, now with your story, where you're at, when did you start deciding about, how did it come about? Like, because you're doing a documentary. How did that come about?
How that came about, it's called Birth of a Nation, First Generation.
Dope.
Brother named Huey, gave me a call and said this is what he wanted to do. He wanted to put together a documentary just dealing with the first generation, which spans the years of 93 to 97. And for me to get some notable key players to select them, they're going to be on board with us. Let's make a documentary with the screen, the background, playing out different situations that we talking about. And I wanted to bring some Latin Kings on board. One Nieta that I know, the CO, he's retired now, but when you had the Latin police on,
he was a CO?
Yeah, he was 37, but he wasn't blood though. He wasn't nothing. He was just that on the island, you had a lot of Latin officers that was really affiliated with Nieta Association and with the Kings.
Yeah, that's how he was getting all them blades in
weapons
there.
and everything, yeah. But this particular CO, he wouldn't compromise his job and bring no razors, no weapons, none of that stuff in. But he'll help you in all type of other ways he can help you.
Right.
Like, I don't care how small it is. It could be where you just got on with a Latin King or whatever, and the officers Spanish coming to get you. They about to take you to intake. They about to beat you up. Oh, I got him. He'll come and interrupt that.
Yeah.
I got him. I'm taking the intake. And he'll go down and make sure everything is all right. So he did his part,
Dope.
So he's going to be part of the program. Like I said, I had some notable Latin Kings that was there from the very beginning. And it was we put it together now. We was waiting because, as you know, my boy Huey, he's like one of the executive producers on Witness for the Defense, the story with Preem and Shaquell and everything. So,
he's doing Preem's documentary also.
So we waited for that
with a guy
finish.
named Michael Payton.
Right,
yeah,
right. We waited for that to finish, and then he was going to start our stuff. We're going to get the same person that filmed that, Luke Steven Spoon, of course.
Yeah.
To do that filming too. Then I'm working with something with Don Q, something that's in the making. He could talk about that with you later.
Yeah.
I don't want to go too in depth with it, People take ideas these days, but try to work on various projects. I have a book out. I wrote a book called Foreplay. It's erotica. I tapped into that. Usually guys don't write that.
How did you get into, like, you have a book out, how do you have distribution for it? Or is
I just put it on Amazon.
It's on Amazon. Yeah. That's all you need.
That's it.
So all you need is Amazon.
Promote your market
Jeff
yourself.
Bezos did a hell of a job, man. He's unbelievable.
I got a couple of people, got a couple of celebrities that post mine up on their stories and all that.
Yeah.
So it built themselves up.
Sure. And you own it.
Yeah.
That's the key.
Yeah,
The
so
ownership.
I put that together, and that's
how long
pretty
did it take you to write a book? Everyone's asked me to write a book.
It took me that book. The other books I had wrote that.
Did you have a writer or did you write?
Myself.
You
I
wrote it
myself. Yeah.
Oh, that's fine.
Autodidactic. I just taught myself. I got a book, Benefit Handbook for Writers to learn how to put together storyline. I bought books on creative writing because it's different than writing a letter. I could write a superb letter home.
Right.
That's not the same as writing, building characters, building a crescendo, a rising effect of a book, and make it suspenseful. Like,
using big words, Dinero. Crescendo.
you got to build the story up, right? So I had to learn how to do that on my own.
No, that's big, man, because they want me to write a book, but I don't think I could write it per se. I would get a writer to write what I tell
You don't
them.
have the time. You can do it. We don't have the time to go. I was in jail, so I had a lot of free time.
Plenty of time.
You're doing a lot of other stuff out here, so it's hard. But I learned myself. I don't want no edit. I want to edit my own work.
And you know what stops me? Because they all wanted, everyone that came to me, I got 6-figure book deals offered to me that I turned down. And from big companies, big publishing companies that are out here. And I didn't do it because they want me to always give something up.
Right.
And I don't want to talk about certain things. Like I said, I'm just an old school nigga. Like, everything ain't for everybody's ears.
Right.
Or, the game ain't to be told, right? So it's like I don't want to tell everything about all these people. They confided in me, or I might have seen them at their low points in their lives, helped them or did something, and I just, like I said, I saved a lot of people. You know what I'm saying? I know Jesus, he did it for the world. I did it for a lot of people with him. So, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's real. Like, on some real shit, I saved a lot of people. And again, when I tell you the stories about all those dudes in jail, who knows what would happen if I didn't do that for them.
Right.
You know what I mean? They go back, next thing you know, something crazy or whatever, God forbid, and it's in the headlines and shit. And that's just that. I mean, I did this all over at all levels. You know what I'm saying? So when I see that, it's like there's certain things I just don't want to talk about. I might tell you in confidence right here, but I don't want to put it in.
You don't want to publicize it.
No. And then some of them are real famous. You know what I mean? They're big names, and you know, I just never did it. But I know I keep saying that I'm gonna do it, but in my way, of course. You know what I'm saying? Without giving up, I just try to figure out the right way to do it. You know, to protect the people that know what I fucking know on their ass. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? You and I know what's going on.
But after a couple of books being taken, I started another hood novel, right?
Sure.
But how erotica came along, you know, erotica is mostly written by females, right? Even 50 Shades of Grey is a female.
Yep.
And it's big. It's so, when I seen it sold 40 million copies in the first year, I'm like, wow, I need to be writing about erotica.
Yeah.
So I started
sex sells.
Yeah. I started reading about erotica. Like, right now, and last year, it's sold 1.4 billion and change.
Yeah.
The second runner
to date.
Yeah, listen, no, I'm talking about
like up to
market.
date, meaning up to today.
Last year.
Okay, that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, up to date, last year. Yeah. So out of that, the second runner up was Crime and Mystery at 700 million. So that means you done double the second runner up.
Wow.
And everything else is close to each other. Right?
Wow.
Even religion and inspirational books was number 3. And that was like
these
a
are digital
520.
books that you have out?
No, I have paperback and digital. And
Okay.
it's
So
both.
on Amazon, if they wanted to order, they have the option to order.
Yeah, right. But I'm going to tell you something about digital. Even though we're in the computer
Digital
age
world.
and all that digital world, nobody, listen, out of all the books I sold so far, about maybe 1,900 books, right? Since October.
Yeah.
Out of 1,900 books, only 3 were digital downloads.
Yeah.
Everybody want paperback.
There's something to that turning that page.
Or putting it on the shelf.
Or putting it on the shelf, tangible
I can put it on my bag. I can, you know,
That's
so.
dope to hear because usually, you know, because right now the CD game is not really, everyone's going digital when it comes to music. So to hear that people still dealing with the actual world.
No, that's fire. That's why
Barnes and Noble's still there.
Yeah, and then you know, how do you market it? How did you you just use social media?
I got a couple of people. Shaheen put on his for me.
Yeah.
I sent the bus around. I sent the Yanni a few people to post it for me.
Okay.
Who else?
No, that's all you need today.
Mac Wiles, he posted it for me.
That's what's up.
Yeah,
but that's what you need. Today's social media. So that side of the digital space is incredible for us.
Followers.
Yeah, it's incredible for us because that you don't have to have as much resources to do it. You can find friends. You know, those are relationships and things of that nature and reach people. I used to always tell everyone if I had to go to L.A. or to promote something in L.A., I had to physically go there, bring the materials. Now you could do it so easy.
Let me tell you something. I work like I'm at home almost every day, so I got my own job. This is what I do.
Yeah.
I got a video trailer made for my book. I be randomly on Facebook, whatever. I just be putting in people's inbox, their DM.
That's it.
With a little note saying that I don't mean to intrude into your personal space, but this is what I got a book. I came out, blah, 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 blah. Check it out. Tell them it's 5-star ready. You can read all the reviews on it.
You know, shout out Everlast. He wrote a book called Raw. Also, that's my man. He's also one of my shooters, my cameraman. You know what I'm saying? Okay. Again, he wrote a book, you know what I'm saying? And I always would tell him, man, that's hard. I don't know how you did it.
Remember, I'm in the
you got to be very creative too. And I'm more analytical than in that side of the things.
I got like 10. I'm finishing my book, right?
Oh, for sure.
I have a book that's called The Formula, 16 Lessons for Life. But when I originally was an idea that I had kind of been about allowing stuff, but I wanted to write something that kind of like the 10 Commandments of life in a weird way, like lessons and rules and formulas you can follow to live a long, fruitful life. But that anyone that was a Muslim, Catholic, it didn't have to be with
any religion.
So when I first wrote it, I was done with it by 2015, but it was a short version book. Chris read it, he said, man, you should break down every lesson. So it took me, because all the other stuff I had. But now I took it to this next, so I have it in English and Spanish. It's a hard copy. I have the audio book, English and Spanish, and I'm working on the animation. Right. I'm 12 chapters. I need the last 4 chapters so I could put animation, whether it's on YouTube where you're breaking down. I kind of let you breaking down the lesson, but it's basically, 16 lessons for life, man. and it's taken me again. It started
And it's
writing
dope,
in March
yeah.
of 2011, but it's a different thing. It's kind of like to help. I want to put something out there that can help people. Kind of just little lessons like don't go anywhere you're not invited. There's a small lesson in that, but how many people sit at home, don't have nothing to do? They see a party popping
wanna
up,
be
they go
there.
and you find out homeboy died coming on the way home in a car accident or
Right.
something. You understand? There's just certain things in life that you share. We all need each other.
Yeah.
You can't write a book without someone wanting to read it. We can't do this podcast without trying to have, oh, that's my son, trying to have an audience. You know what I'm saying? So you being able to write a book without sitting here, what I realize is you're an incredibly smart individual. So even though you kind of came through, you used your time in the prison system to
That's a
help
fact.
you and educate yourself. And that's the key going forward. You know, saying, hey, I was here, I'm here, and this is where I'm going.
So we're going to wrap it up on that. An incredible, smart individual, came through unbelievable challenges. You know what I'm saying? Again, thank you for coming. I want you to, before you go off, I want you to say the name of your documentary again in the book again.
Birth of a Nation, First Generation, 031. Hopefully that'll be out. Maybe next year it'll be finished, filmed, and wrapped up. And my book is called Foreplay. Just look up the word Shaquell on Amazon, Shaquell, and that book will pop up.
That's what's up. And yeah, give us your social media
And my
too.
social media is Quell's Got Bands. It's QUELLZ_GOT_BANDZ.
Got it.
Yeah, I'm glad
Say
you broke it
less.
down. So people saying they don't break it down, they don't get it.
Quell's Got
spelling, they
Bands.
can't find it.
Man, appreciate you showing
Yeah,
up,
Quell's,
man.
bro.
Giving them the
Great
business,
story,
man.
my brother. Great story.
This is
Giving them
Chris
the business.
Gotti, Don Dinero, our
Already
first guest, Quell. You know what I'm saying? Giving them the business. We out.
Sweet.